Welcome to Chess on the Brain with National Master David Bennett. All right, well, we have some really interesting games today. I don't really usually play that much Blitz, but I played a few 1-minute games today. I was just, I think Blitz is, or rather Bullet is the kind of thing where you just have to feel it. Like you had a good night's rest, you ate well, you drank enough water, you brought it all together, you're feeling the vibe, and I'm feeling the vibe now. I got some. I like this music too. I found this free, royalty free electro swing by Jamie Berry. So I just want to give a shout out to that. I really like that. So I got that in the background. And okay, so like anything on this channel, I like to explain the ideas behind it. I don't want to just show you something that looks interesting. I want to make sure we really break it down. Let's look at the context, maybe look at how it could have gone better from my opponent, because it's a bullet game. It could have gone differently, right? But I kind of messed it up as well. But we'll look at it. This one was actually the most accurate. So this game I apparently had 96% accuracy. The other one's not so much. But I was pretty happy with this. I was playing some crazy stuff. Then I played just a regular Queen's Gambit accepted, which has been something kind of my go-to, other than like some hedgehogs and hippos and fun b6 and various things against e4 and d4 I've been doing. So anyway, I went ahead with this just a classic Queen's Gambit accepted and won the d4 pawn and then came back with my knight. And then I ended up taking h2 and I got my bishop stuck. It was kind of crazy though, because I don't really lose the bishop, even though he's as we say, on free. He's about to be taken, right? So what happens next? Well, I go e5, and the bishop's under attack. I say, okay, well, I'm up a pawn now. You want my bishop, I get your bishop. Looks like I retain my pawn advantage. So the bishop has to come after me somehow. Oh, I guess he could have played knight d5, right? There you go. That was his chance. Okay, well, his chance to not be as worse. So he goes bishop g5. I take on f2, obviously, and I can guard my bishop. I mean, it's a very feeble defense of the bishop, but what's the main thing that's holding the bishop, or the main prospect of the bishop, is that it could take on g3, right? So we're demolishing the pawn base, the base of the pawn chain. As we see on the bottom, pawns are the soul of chess. And we have the half-open f-file, right? We don't have anything on the f-file. They have one pawn. So we break through with e5. We break through on the f-file with e5. Make the bishop move out of the way. And there's really not a great response because, for example, if rook e2, we just take on g3. We're still winning that pawn. And then we're going to have two awesome connected passed pawns, lava flowing in his position. So he takes, I take. He goes bishop h4, which probably, whoever they are, mahogany something. They from Guam apparently. They go bishop h4, and yeah, the bishop is just kind of like a tall pawn. I mean, yeah, it's got scope here, but where's it going, right? It's not helping its defense other than I get it. I mean, they want to defend g3, reasonable enough in a bullet game, right? So I come in with the knight, of course, and where's the knight want to go? He wants to land on that awesome outpost of f3. Now, let me. I'd encourage you to maybe pause the video and just think about some patterns. Think about your mating patterns. Maybe you've read Art of Attack in Chess. Think about the mating patterns here. What would be the mating pattern that black really wants? What's the dream, or as Silman would say, what's the dream position? So try to envision your dream position with black. Kind of move everything around like a jigsaw puzzle in your mind. Think about how you're going to achieve that dream position you want, right? Okay, so of course the knight wants to come in here. Where's the rook want to go? Well, I'll show you, but maybe you already know. You'll see it. Brings the rook in the middle. I guess it would be reasonable to attack my rook, but I'm just going to come here with the second rook and follow up and take back. And I'm still going to have the mating ideas coming. So the rook comes over here. Knight comes in, which apparently wasn't the best, but I guess it's good enough if it's 6 points up rather than 8. 6 points to the good, can't argue with that. Our bishop, funny enough, the bishop is just chilling there on h2 and nothing happened to him, right? So he's definitely, I was honestly, my main concern here was I just don't want to lose my bishop, right? I mean, hey, I'm gonna hop in while I can with my other pieces, but I just don't want to lose my bishop. So he comes in on knight d5. Now apparently it's a mate d5. Okay, try to find the move here. Black to play and force a win. Think about your mating patterns. How do we work with this construction here, those three pieces? Maybe the pawn kind of helped insofar as it can have an outpost for the knight on f3. Okay, so let's look at the move. Bishop g1 is the correct move, and that just opens up h2. So the name of that type of move is a clearance. It's not a sacrifice. Well, it actually kind of is. I mean, the rook can take the bishop and get taken back, whatever, 2 pieces for rook. But we don't care about that because we're going for mate, right? It's just unstoppable mate, and there can't be any kind of obstruction or anything going on in the second rank. There's just nothing that's going to work. The bishop's out of play, the knight's out of play, and the rooks can't come to the second rank or take. it all loses. So they just try some desperados, you know, knight check, or we might call it a spite check. It's not, just in case I pre-move, which I'm obviously not going to do. I have like at least 10 seconds left. But yeah, don't pre-move that and mess up your mate, right? So anyway, that's the first one. Let me just make sure our stream is good. Looks like, yep, looks like we're clearly streaming there. Okay. Everything, by the way, I do on this channel is streaming. Well, I did a few things with the video at the beginning, and then it started up taking a bunch of space. And actually, someone recommended that I just do. A fellow coach recommended that he said, hey, your style seems like you should just do stream. So I need to do more of it, but I'm trying to get back into it again. I haven't done Twitch though. Maybe I'll give it a shot. But I like the YouTube community. It seems pretty good. Seems like a good place to do streams. So let's see what just happened here. I go rook g4. So I'm kind of brewing up some pressure on the king side, right? And as you can see, my accuracy is dropping in this. This is more of a messy one. I went down here and kind of lost the advantage a couple times. Apparently he was ahead at one point, but you know, that's the nature of 1 minute games. But we've got the queen, the rook, the bishop surrounding, or kind of getting really close to their king. And we can take g3 at will. So we've got a lot of tactics going on. Now they moved the rook back to b1. And actually, you know, what I think I probably should have done here is rook a2. I should have waited before kind of pulling the lever, because rook a2 is going to increase my pressure on the second rank, create this really awesome x-ray. If they move it, it's pinned. This one's pinned. So it's going to create more tactical possibilities. Because, for example, if I take right now, the pawn could just take back, I think. It's not so bad for them. But if I come here first and the bishop moves, if I take, they can't take back. It's pinned, right? That's the point. Otherwise, they just lose the bishop. I guess they have rook d1, but then they're getting kind of tied down. It's just increasing the pressure. Not to mention, you can start eating pawns like this one. Come around this way. But I think we're pretty good trying to get to h4. We just don't want the pawn, I think, to take back. And if it does, again, that's why I want to enhance the attack here. Oh, by the way, if we have rook a2 in, maybe we can think about taking. Oh, I want to go bishop g, but then the queen's hanging. So it's just increasing pressure, though. I think after this and this, rook here, possibly even bishop g5 right away, but we're going to really work that second rank combined with the h file and the fourth rank here. So there's a lot of pressure. Okay, so I went for takes right away, which is actually still good enough. It still says -4 for black. They take with the rook. Now let's look at why this doesn't take. Yeah, I think it's going to be rook's coming anyhow. It's going to happen anyway. But this is even worse because, of course, what do? We go ahead and win the queen with this move. They come over, double up, natural enough. Take it, which is actually losing. That's losing. Well, it's, you know, I'm basically, yeah, again, I think I was down to seconds on my clock. But somehow it worked out in the game. Well, you know, it was like takes, and then bishop here. So I'm trying to hold on to my queen, right? Maybe they had bishop g5. Maybe that's what they missed. Yeah, that's what they missed. And they got mated. So, yeah, they helped me out there. But I think we were both real low on time by that point. But yeah, bishop g5 would have been the way to stay in the game and try to take. And, you know, they got the rooks coming at me. And again, I'm sorely missing my rook on a2. What is he doing on a4? It's like the Agard principle. Always think about what's your worst piece. So the 3 questions that Agard says you want to ask yourself is, what's my opponent trying to do? Where are the weaknesses? Think about both sides. And what's my worst piece? So this will be a perfect example of just bring the rook in the game, and that would just prevent bishop g5, because then you would have the rook takes check. So we should already have it there. They missed it, fortunately, and still got the mate. That was just an interesting kind of king side attacking scenario that didn't quite go as well as it should have. So what's the best move here? Yeah, again, I think it's, yeah, again, rook a2 right now. So we had 2 chances to do it, and they don't really have much of a defense. So if they go here, what's our best move now? Our best move. Is it just moving the queen? Takes, rook takes. It might even be just taking it now and then going ahead and blocking with the bishop. It's not. Oh, bishop g5. Nice. But this is better than the previous version, because now bishop g5 is going to be met by, again, rook takes f2. So it's still pretty good, but not nearly as good as this awesome move. Just hanging the bishop, essentially. You're hanging it to this and this, but they can't take it because, again, this is deadly. rook takes check, king moves, and then we're going to mate after rook takes queen. And if the rook takes here, again, we're going to have that instant mate. We're going to get that corridor mate here like we had in the game, which they helped us with, right? That's a nice move. That's hard to find in time pressure, but you know, again, the principle still stands. You have the pressure here, you have the pressure here. You're just looking for ways to throw their pieces off. You decoy them, make it work. Okay. So in the context of that, just to go back a little bit, well, it was kind of interesting. It was out of like a kind of a King's Indian setup that it became. Again, this sort of small center setups I was playing with. So taking was fine. I think, yeah, they throw the queen back. And then we started coming in with some threats. I thought, I looked at that. I thought reasonable if they take with the bishop to try to kill the attack a bit. I mean, they have to. We have pressure on 2 focal points on f2 and h2. So they pretty much have to take the only decent move that doesn't lose on the spot. This has to be a losing move because of f3. It's just too much pressure. Yeah, I mean, I was really expecting f3 here, at which point they're still in the game for sure. You know, maybe, yeah, it looks like queen somewhere over here. And then maybe a rook lift or something. You know, so it's kind of like a typical King's Indian. My bishop's not so happy, but I'm going to have pressure here. And again, that rook a2 move is always in the air combined with, so we'll have lateral pressure and we'll have file pressure on the g file, maybe even the h file. So yeah, still a good position, but not nearly as good as it could have been, as it was in the game. Okay, now we have this kind of tactical scenario that came about. It was out of an English, and they somehow just gave the rook back, which I was a little surprised about. I mean, yeah, just take this, and they're actually fine. I had a better version earlier. This didn't work out that great if they had just taken it. But now I just take a free, either way, but I'm winning a free rook now. Okay, so we just have to go for mate. And they, I guess they could have tried queen c5, but it's a losing endgame. I was low on time though, so the best strategy is to go into the endgame. Okay, so trying to attack the king. I realized, okay, actually let's come back again. I want queen d4, and then I want to swing my rook. So I come this way. Again, they should still try to survive with this one. That's why the computer's probably favoring rook c1. So we say, hey, I want to get on these awesome diagonals here. Cut off the king, swing the rook up, mate the king on the h file, right? So first toss in this move with tempo on the queen, make the queen move, then get your diagonal. Although I guess you could challenge the diagonal here. So maybe rook c1, queen g7. Oh, then they're getting mated. We're kind of smothering them with that. They're smothering themselves. So we're provoking that. Okay, the queen moves here, let's say. Then we do queen d4, maybe. Yeah, cut off the king, then do our rook lift and win. So still probably good enough. Yeah, they had to hold on with queen c5 though. Okay, now I actually had a faster win. Again, I was down. I think I had 5 seconds at this point, so I went with rook check, but queen check and mate, right? That would be nice. But it's interesting how it works out here. After I make an error with quick h3 check, now I got less than 5 seconds to finish this. So fortunately, I found it. Okay, take a pause here. Try to find your win. White to move and win. So it's basically reconstructing the exact same mate, exact same pattern of coming to g5, having your helper mate with the pawn. But since the rook's already there, you can't do it anymore, right? On f6. So you toss in this move. They have to take, and then the rest is pre-move, you know, because I know I'm coming here. I know they got to go here, and I know I'm mating on g5. So yeah, just kind of a fun little mate. But really the setup is key. Getting those diagonals, and pretty much it started with this working on this e6 square. They were okay theoretically, but that's initiative. That's definitely initiative. Anytime they take, you're opening the bishop on b7, coming to d5, which is kind of what happened. Take. Oh wait, what did I? Oh, I'm thinking. Well, if you take, I play e7. Wait, did I just? No, I think I completely hallucinated. I thought that I had it. I thought my queen was on the diagonal, right? I still thought that. Yeah, it was based on some thought that I had. I was thinking of bishop d5, and I forgot about the line or something. They could have just taken it. Yeah, they could have just taken a free piece. So, yeah, but then okay, it's only karma that that I'm going to give it back. That this isn't actually going to work. No, it shouldn't have worked, but they did let it work again. Okay, so my opponent helped me a couple times. My opponent was a very fast player, so they won a couple times on speed, even from worse positions. So that that'll get you so far, but you got to have substance to your play, right? Okay, so that ended up working out. Although my substance was not so great in that one. So we had that was 79%, so we're going around 80% in those last two. I was pretty happy with the first game though. That was just a clean win, pretty clean. No, I mean here's what happened. I mean out of the Queen's Gambit, accepted. I like this system with a6 and bishop d6. There's actually a famous game, Petrosian beating Kasparov, young Kasparov in like his early 20s. Petrosian showing his defensive prowess and holding Kasparov back and just taking material and letting Kasparov attack him on the queen side where he castled. They castled opposite sides. It's same system. And funny enough, although in that game it's like h3 and g4, and the bishop actually tucks back to f1 and goes to g2. Funny enough, someone played it against me in a tournament. I didn't know it. Had many of the same moves, like 13 moves in or something. More than 10 moves in. Same. We were following that game, and then I diverged at some point, a little bit worse than Petrosian's move, but I ended up winning that one too. It's just I love the Queen's Gambit accepted. If you know it, if you study it, you can get some great positions. Now at first I'm like, wait, am I going for e5 or something? Wait a second, I could just, your bishop's in the way, I could just take and then take. So we win a free pawn. And then I'm going for queen d6, just trying to keep initiative, keep threats on him, and double rooks, double up on the d file. But yeah, then he hangs the h pawn. So they're not watching for threat recognition; they're just moving really fast. So I take a free pawn. That's how my bishop got stuck. I should have just been like, "Thanks for the free pawn." Somehow again, I kind of hallucinated that my queen was coming over, but obviously they're covering this. So yeah, but then I'm like, okay, I can't go to f4 anymore, so I have to cover with the knight. And then we got into this weird stuff where I'm like, all right, well, I have to open up the f file. I have to kind of swindle this a bit because, yeah, theoretically they're better now. But you know, we're in a short game. I got to swindle this and kind of just survive with the hanging bishop. And again, amazingly, from this position, theoretically, my bishop is actually not lost because of queen takes f2. And I'm like, I'm kind of holding on, hoping that I can hold on here. But amazingly, once you take f2, g3 falls pretty much. They try to hold on to that, but then they're just getting in this mating net. And it was pretty fun. So that was my favorite. I think this is my favorite one because of the mating net that was created. All right, well, just a few examples. And I really want to look into some of these live events going on with the, what is it called? The Superbet chess tour. It's part of the chess tour. I'm definitely rooting for Wesley So. I think Wesley So is the greatest player in the world right now, other than Magnus Carlsen. I really think he's the guy that Magnus Carlsen needs to look out for. Unfortunately, he somehow, I don't know what happened, but he somehow didn't qualify. But he's among the top rated in the world, and he could beat Magnus Carlsen in chess 960. He's beaten him in quick games because that's what you got to be able to beat Magnus in quick games. And I think that Wesley So is one of the few who can do that, showing his understanding of chess and chess 960 and randomized positions, and then you get the regular thing. But apart from opening knowledge, he can outplay Magnus. So we had an American and Caruana had a shot. He messed it up because he couldn't handle the quick. Now we have a Russian. Hopefully it comes back to Wesley So and he beats Magnus Carlsen next time around. After I'm predicting Magnus is going to beat Nepomniachtchi. But we'll see. Wesley So, he's got to have his shot though, because he is playing really amazing chess. So, all right, well, thanks guys. Hopefully you got something out of some interesting tactical scenarios. And again, I don't really analyze my own games too much. Usually I analyze other people's games, grandmaster games, viewers' games. So I want to get back to those. There are a couple other viewer games I wanted to analyze. So I'm going to get back to that. And hopefully looking at some of these top GM games as well. All right, thanks guys. Have a good one.